Welcome to another video, and this video is based on coronary heart disease. But first things first, it's important to note what actually causes coronary heart disease. And I bring two words. The first one is risk and the second one is factor. So risk factors, as the name suggests, it's anything, any attribute, any characteristic that increases the risk of a disease to manifest. So one particular one that springs to mind, the main one really, is having a very fat diet. A diet that consists of saturated fats. Let's say you're having far too many Morley's, KFC, your local spicy chicken burger, if you tend to go for those sort of burgers in Manchester, where I'm from, to anything that has a lot of grease. But of course, if you have too much of it, it's going to increase the risk, but everyone likes a treat now and then. But anyways, I digress. So another risk factor to pinpoint includes a very high salt intake. Obesity, that's another one. What do you reckon I'm drawing over here? Found in the nucleus, yes, DNA. But more or less the idea of genetics, so certain genes can make, can pose a risk as well for coronary heart disease. Infection's another one, and stress levels, so cortisol, which is a stress hormone. If you have increased stress levels, it does put you at risk to coronary heart disease. So what's really important is to understand these risk factors and how these risk factors, because these risk factors could be in a question, for instance, explain 2 risk factors or give me 1 risk factor to this disease, or they might be a bit cheeky and say give me another risk factor, like the word other, they'll give you 1 in the question. A fatty diet is a risk factor, give me 1 other example. And of course you're not going to write fatty diet because you're not really reading the question, are you? But anyways, coronary heart disease is caused by a blockage of a coronary artery. So as you can see here, this is the external view, the outset of the heart, and people forget that the heart needs its own oxygen supply. Of course the heart pumps blood, sends it to the rest of the body, but needs looking after as well, so it has its own supply. So represented in red, if I sort of zoom in, eavesdrop over here, we have the coronary artery. The coronary artery supplies oxygenated blood to the heart. Now, if you have a very fatty diet, very high cholesterol diet, these deposits can build up. So, when you say you put a deposit in the bank with money, this could be substituted to the idea of fat. So you've got fat deposits, they can accumulate, they can build up, accumulate, and they can form plaques. Now, with the help of platelets, recruiting those platelets, and there's a role with white blood cells, a clot can form. Now, once the clot forms, you need to appreciate that oxygenated blood, let's say these red blood cells, can't access the heart. The blood is restricted, isn't it? It restricts blood flow, as there's a blockage over here. So it restricts blood flow. But what type of blood flow? Yes, you're right, oxygenated blood. So it reduces oxygenated blood. Now, when you reduce oxygenated blood, we're reducing oxygen. Now, less oxygen means less key event. There's this major event that oxygen's used for. Rhymes with destination. Yes, you're right, respiration. But what type of respiration, I ask? type in the chat, guys, or type in the, in the comment section. Yes, well done. Aerobic respiration. So you have less aerobic respiration. Now, less aerobic respiration, can't speak there. Less aerobic respiration means what type of respiration would be increased? The one that releases lactic acid. Spot on. Anaerobic respiration goes up. In turn, the main goal of respiration is to release ATP, that energy currency. So less ATP / energy is released, meaning the heart can't do its job. It can't pump blood. But what is the heart made out of? What sort of tissue, what sort of cells make up the heart? Yes, muscles. But what do muscles do? If you want to type in the comment section, guys. Correct, it contracts. So essentially, there's less muscle contraction. Now, chest pains, they're caused by the lactic acid that's produced. Since oxygen's depleted, it's starved, lactic acid would go up, and it's the main reason towards this technical word called chest pain, and the technical word for chest pain is angina. Yeah, brilliant. So starting from the beginning, we've got a bunch of risk factors, from fatty diet to stress. This is the underlying science. You've got the deposit building up. We've got a clot that forms, restricts oxygenated blood flow because of this blockage. Less oxygen, less aerobic respiration, less energy, less muscle contraction. In your answers, it's really key that you say less at the beginning. If you want to become a Mark scheme merchant, you've got to say the word less at the beginning. So here we are. Now I've got a question over here. Explain the effect of a partly blocked coronary artery on the human body. Now you've got to appreciate what the coronary artery supplies. Yes, you're right, oxygenated blood to the heart. And what does the heart do? Pump blood through muscle contraction. And in your answer, it'd be really ideal to use the word less. Like I said, to reiterate, to reinforce, if you want to become a Mark scheme merchant, it's really important you include the word less. So best of luck. You've got less than 6 minutes, or pause the video and have a go. Okay, I'm assuming you've paused it. If you haven't, here's another chance to pause. And let's show the Mark scheme. So it reduces blood flow to the heart, less oxygen to the heart, less glucose as well. That's a good point as well, because it's oxygenated blood. It's got high quantities of glucose, less aerobic respiration, less energy. Bonus if you mention ATP, less muscle contraction. And then it talks about lactic acid, the chest pain, lethargy, breathlessness, and so on and so forth. Please write in the comment section below what you got as an answer. That would be sound. But in the meantime, please like, comment and subscribe.